Ever since I watched the Michael movie, my Instagram has just been a shrine filled with memes and tributes to Michael Jackson.
You're a vegetable, you're a vegetable, I'm still hate you.
This is Jack, my son. Jackson. That's not what I said.
But why? Well, the Michael movie has just been released this year, and people are just covering the real story themselves. So I'm gonna go over it. Michael Jackson sold over 750 million records worldwide. He's one of the best music selling artists that has ever lived. That is a guy that completely reshaped pop music. And then the allegations hit, and then he died, and then a documentary came out, then a movie. But before we get into all that, you gotta understand how big this guy was. Michael Jackson was born on August 29th, 1958, in Gary, Indiana. And if this video does good, I'll probably visit that house. He was the 7th of 10 kids, and his father, Joe Jackson, ran the music family career like a drill sergeant. It was like a D-Day invasion inside that house, and by most accounts he was hitting his children to get them on stage. It was a deluxe whooping. Michael was only 5 years old when he started performing with his brothers as the Jackson 5. By the time he was 11, he already had a #1 single, I Want You Back. It topped the charts in 1969. And he was 11 at that age. Most kids at that age are worried about 6, 7 and Skibbity Toilet. But whatever Michael had, it wasn't a normal childhood. He was constantly on the road and on the studio and on television, with almost no normal life outside of performing. And it's been reported that his dad didn't even let him go play outside with the kids. Multiple family members have accused Joe Jackson of physical and emotional abuse. And Michael said that himself. He said that he used to throw up before shows because he was genuinely terrified of his father.
I don't think he realizes to this day how scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit?
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence.
He also said over and over again that he never had a real childhood. For the rest of his life, he kept saying that he was trying to get something back that he never was allowed to have in the first place. But we'll fast forward a bit. Off the Wall came out in 1979. It was his first solo adult album, and it produced 4 top 10 singles. Something nobody has ever done from a single record before. And critics noticed. Then in 1982, Thriller happened. And pop music never really recovered from that. Thriller is still the best-selling album ever made, with around 70 million copies sold worldwide, maybe more depending on whose numbers you use. It produced 7 top 10 singles, including Billie Jean, Beat It, and Human Nature. Practically every track has become iconic, which almost never happens. This video was sponsored by Red Rum Beef Jerky, again, and they're doing a giveaway. Text SAM to 678-922-0100. The first 10 people will receive 2 bags. There's soft heat, and there's mild. Anyways, back to the video. Also, if there's background noise, it's because there's a live band playing right underneath me. I'm in a new apartment, if you haven't noticed, which is why it looks like I'm sitting in a museum. But anyways, then there was the Thriller music video. It ran 14 minutes, and it was directed by John Landis, and it cost around $500,000, which is absolutely ridiculous because it was 1983. And that's back when $500,000 didn't only just get you a McChicken. MTV initially refused to play it because, well, the network barely featured black artists. Ain't no brown clown in my town, yeehaw! CBS Records reportedly told MTV to either play the video or lose every artist on their label. And guess what MTV did? Yeah. Before Thriller, a music video was basically an advertisement for a song. And after Thriller, well, it kind of changed how things were. It could be a short film. And I mean, for example, like Melanie Martinez, she released a full-length movie, including all of her songs, basically, and a pink school bus. You know, funny fact, I own the complete opposite of that bus. It was a completely matte black bus for about 3 years, for some reason, because I kind of felt like it. But anyways, that's Michael Jackson was the reason that, you know, music videos are the way they are now. By the mid-1980s, his appearance was changing quickly. His skin became lighter, and his nose became narrower. And the tabloids, well, they kinda went to town on that. But here's what was actually documented. Michael Jackson was diagnosed with vitiligo, a condition that destroys your skin pigment. And it was confirmed by both his autopsy and the dermatologist. He also had lupus erythematosus, which makes the skin painfully sensitive to sunlight. The blotchy skin people have noticed in the early 80s lined up exactly with vitiligo. He also underwent multiple nose surgeries. something that he admitted himself. And his dad always teased him about his big nose and how it didn't come from his side of the family. By the end of his life, nose surgeries has caused real damage to both his face and breathing, and it required ongoing medical treatment. And the tabloids turned all of that into, well, he's trying to turn himself white, but he had a real skin disorder, and he mentioned it himself that he's proud to be an African American.
Just recently there was a story, and I know one of your attorneys held a news conference. There was a story about you wanting to have a little white boy play you in a Pepsi commercial.
That is so stupid. That's the most ridiculous, horrifying story I've ever heard. It's crazy. I mean, why? Number one, it's my face as a child in the commercial. Me when I was little. Why would I want a white child to play me? I'm a black American. I'm proud to be a black American.
So the vitiligo was real, the childhood trauma was real, and the choices he made, well, they were real. But if you try to reduce that to one explanation, you're probably going to be missing the point. Fast forward to 1988. Michael built the Neverland. It covered around 2,700 acres in Santa Barbara County, and it included a zoo and an amusement park, a movie theater, and an open invitation to children to come visit. And this is where things kind of take a turn. In 1993, a 13-year-old named Jordan Chandler told a psychiatrist that Michael Jackson, well, skedaddled him. And Jordan's father, Evan Chandler, had reportedly been pursuing financial settlement before the allegations became public. The accusations became a criminal investigation, and Neverland Ranch was raided. And in 1994, Michael reached a $23 million civil settlement with the Chandler family. He was never criminally charged because, well, Jordan Chandler declined to testify, and Michael said that he settled the case because he didn't want a public legal battle. In 2003, Living with Michael Jackson, a documentary film by Martin Bashir, aired after months of access to Michael's life. During the documentary, Michael openly admitted to sharing his bedroom with children and that he personally doesn't see anything wrong with it. And the documentary triggered another investigation. But what you gotta know is that Michael's bedroom is the size of a house. A 13-year-old named Gavin Arvizio accused Michael of skedaddling him, and that it occurred during the filming. And Michael was arrested later that year. His trial began in 2005. The prosecution's case had significant problems, and Gavin's mother, Janet Arvizo, had a documented history of, well, you guessed it, filing fraud claims against celebrities and companies. And several witnesses have contradicted one another, under oath, by the way. And defense witnesses testified that the Arvizo family had tried to obtain money from Michael Jackson before the allegations have surfaced. On June 13 of 2005, after 7 days of deliberation, the jury acquitted Michael of all 14 counts. And then fast forward to June 25th of 2009, and Michael Jackson dies of acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication, or however you say that. His personal physician, Conrad Murray, was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter, and it was for administering propofol, and it's a surgical anesthetic, and it's supposed to be used in a proper medical setting, not in a bedroom. Michael Jackson was 50 years old, and there we are now, 2026. The new movie, Michael, it stars Jafar Jackson, Michael's actual nephew, came out in April of this year, well, 2026, in case you're watching in a different year. And it was made with the full cooperation of the Jackson estate. It followed his childhood into the early 2000s. And now the internet is obsessed with Michael Jackson all over again. People are doing their research and they are realizing, well, there's villains out there. And there's all sorts of conspiracies, but what I can tell you from my own research that a lot of people did him dirty. And all that is for speaking the truth.